Good morning, welcome to this tutorial on enhanced customer forms in Pakk. So we're going to start with a form which we already have on the Pakk website, our consultation form, which is the one you can see here on the right. So this is a form that already exists, but we haven't implemented any of the new enhanced form features on this form yet. So it's just quite a simple form at the moment. Before we get going, I want to draw your attention to the documentation. So this is the first one. This is the main documentation. You can find it in the Pakk documentation section. And it's this one, Understanding Customer Forms. And this goes through how to set up a form from beginning to end. And if you just follow that through, that basically contains all of the advanced information, especially on enhanced forms. And then we also have this documentation here, Customer Form Use Case Examples. And this is quite a good illustration of all the different ways you can use enhanced forms in different use cases. So the one that we're going to be sort of implementing today is the bottom one, request for consultation. So we're going to be starting with a simple contact form, and we're going to be using some of the advanced features to upgrade it to an enhanced form. So as I said, this is the current form, our current free consultation form, which is here. If you go to the Pakk main website and you click on free consultation, this is the form you see. So I've made a copy of this form to play around with, which I've called free consultation test. And this is this one here. And this is the last one here on our admin panel you can see. So let's go into this and start working with it. So at the moment, like I said, it's just a simple form which is configured to be a wholesale lead form. So this means that when somebody registers using this form, it will create a new customer record for them, and it will just be marked as a trade customer. For us, that makes sense. Depending on the form that you're setting up, you might want to go with retail or trade. So to start with, I'm going to draw your attention to this I agree to privacy policy here. This is part of GDPR compliancy that requires that if anybody fills out a form with their information on your site, they're going to need to give positive consent to agreeing to the privacy policy. Now, this is not configured at a form by form level. This is an overall configuration, which is configured in your website setup. So if I was to go to website, set up websites, there will be an option there that I can enable or disable. If you for your jurisdiction, you don't need to worry about that type of compliancy, you can disable that. But we're going to leave that enabled because we do need that. So if somebody's filling out this form, they will have to click here to agree before they can submit the form. So the first thing I want to do is to customize the comments box, because at the moment it just says comments, which isn't very useful. So I'm going to edit here, and we're going to change the comments placeholder. I'm not going to make comments optional. I still want people to tell us something about the business. So I'm just going to say something like, please tell us something about your business. And while I'm here, I'm going to enable subscribe. So this will set the customer's global subscription option, so global opt-in, to opted in, if they choose to opt in, of course, because this is going to show another positive consent form. So it requires some wording. So let's say, is it okay if we send you occasional news about Pakk? Okay, and just ignore for subscribe at the moment. That has a particular use case which we're not interested in right now. So let's save that and let's refresh here. So what have we got that's new? So the comments box has changed. Please tell us something about your business. That's much better. And then under the agree to privacy checkbox, we've got this, is it okay if we send you occasional news about Pakk, which again is optional. Okay, so let's just quickly fill out this form and we can see what happens. I'm not going to submit it, it's just fill it out. And then you have to agree to the privacy policy. You see that the button changes from disabled to enabled state, and then you can subscribe or not. It's up to you. Okay, good. All right, let's just delete those. So that's the basics of the form. Now, let's refresh it. Next thing we want to do is to add some additional questions, some custom questions. So this is part of the new enhanced form functionality. So to add a question, you just click in additional questions, add the new question, and let's set up some simple questions. So the first thing that I want to ask people who are interested in Pakk is what they're currently using. So we're going to have a question, what e-commerce /ERP software are you currently using? And the slug is has a particular use when we start doing pre-filled forms. So it just needs to be a simple URL style word. So we'll just say current software. That will work for that. It's not going to be required. It's not going to be a choice field, and it's not going to be disabled or hidden. So that's simple number one. And the second one we want to do is who the consultation will be with. So let's say consultation with, again, slug consultation with. And this one, we want to disable it because we're going to pre-fill this information. This is not something the customer is going to have to do themselves. So we're going to make some choices here. So it'll be me, it'll be the three members of the team. So me, Jesse, let's put Jessica, and Alan. Okay, and we're disabling that one, and you'll see what that does in a second. And then final question we're going to add is source, as in where did this come from? Okay, so we're not going to go in and set up lots of different sources now. We're just going to add one, which is going to be business card, because what we're going to do is set this form up so that we can link it from business cards that we would create for the Pakk team. So let's do business card there, and that's going to be hidden. Okay, because that's not even going to show. It's going to feed through the form collection process, but it's not even going to show. Okay, so we'll start with that, save that, and refresh. Now, see how the forms change. So we've got the first question, what e-commerce ERP software are you currently using, which is optional. We set it up as optional. That's fine. So people can type in there. And then we have this consultation with the choice fields that we set up. Okay. And you remember we set that as disabled. Now, and you'll see that it's not disabled here. What's going on there? Well, it's disabled if it's been pre-filled in. And if it hasn't been pre-filled in, which it hasn't in this case, then it's free choice. And then the third question that we set up, source, doesn't even show here. So I'm just going to take that off hidden for a second, the source question. Okay, so you can see it. So you can see it's showing now source, and you've got the only one option that we set up, which was business card. So obviously you would build that up with different other sources of leads, but in this case we only need one. So I'm just going to go back in. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll leave it unhidden for now so you can actually see the effect of when we start building up our pre-filled forms. So this is now an enhanced form using some of the new custom fields. The next step that we would do here is to go into pre-filled forms here on the left and start creating some bundles of answers to this form, to the custom questions. So let's go into edit mode, add a new pre-filled form, and we're going to call this one John's business card, because this would be kind of the bundle of answers, pre-filled answers that we'd want if we were creating a business card for me. Okay, so pre-filled answer, current software, obviously that we don't need to pre-fill that in. We don't know what current software the customer or the lead might be using. Consultation with, this is going to go on my business card, so it's going to be Jonathan. And source, business card. Okay, now if we save that, we have one pre-filled form created. So a pre-filled form can be thought of as a bundle of answers, a set bundle of answers. And what we've got is a link now to this form. So rather than, you see that you always had the link here. This is the standard link to the form in an unpre-filled state, if you like. So we could always access the form, and that's what we're doing here, just by the normal link you can see there. But what the pre-filled form links give us is a way to link to the form in a state that some of the answers are already there. And this can be really cool for giving forms to a customer in a state that most of the answers or some of the answers are already pre-filled out. So here we've got this one. Let's just copy this link, and using the clipboard icon, we're going to put this in here, and we're going to see what happens. So what's happened here? Look at the questions that we had some pre-filled answers for. So the first one was consultation with Jonathan. Now you see it's been pre-filled out with Jonathan, and now it is disabled because we set it up, if you remember here, in form options, consultation with, we ticked it as disabled, and now it really is disabled. Okay, so the customer doesn't need to change that now. So you've supplied the form in a pre-filled format, and you don't want them to change that consultation with option, because that's what's going to be on the business card. So that is disabled. And then the source, as you can see, we didn't select it as disabled, but actually we don't want the customer to see this. We want it to be fed through the form when they submit it, but we don't want them to see it. And that's where the hidden thing comes in. So edit, hidden, save. And if we refresh this now, that value is in the form, but they don't see it. So when it's submitted, we'll have a record of it, but then the customer doesn't need to know about that. So that's fine. So this now is our pre-filled enhanced consultation form. And what we want to do with this is we want to, theoretically, of course, we want to create a business card for me, and we want customers to fill out a consultation form requesting a consultation with me with the link that we're going to give them on the business card. Now, what's the problem? If you look at the link that's created, is long because the link encodes the answers to the question. So obviously the link is long. This is not the kind of link you want people having to type in by hand. Obviously, this needs to be automated. So the way we do that nowadays is with QR codes, which are very easy to use and very popular. So if I click here, this QR code encodes the link to this pre-filled form. So if somebody scans this QR code with their phone, it's going to link them directly to the pre-filled form in a state that they can just request the consultation with me in a really fluid manner. So you can preview. So this button here will allow you to preview the QR code. And obviously we want to download it to use it in our, however we're building the business card or the flyer or the poster or whatever we're using this form for. We want to get the QR code into it. So basically we'll click on, we'll hide that, and we'll click on this download button. And this download button, as you can see, it's downloaded the SVG onto my computer. So now I can take this, I can give it to my designer, I can use it in Photoshop, I can use it wherever I can use an SVG graphic, and that will really simply encode the link to this pre-filled form. So you don't have to worry about this. You can, if you are building if you're going to use this in a website, one of your Pakk sites or another site, or however you want to link to this form, if you're doing it in an HTML link, then you can obviously use this, and you'd put some link text like click here to the form, and you'd send the person to the form, and they'd never have to see this link. So the QR code is more for physical media or places where people are going to be scanning with their phone, whereas the link will be used more in HTML and web building contexts. Okay, so that gives you the idea of how the person gets to the pre-filled form. When they fill out the form, what happens? That's on the confirmation tab. So the first option is who do we want to send the notifications to? So in this case, it's sending the notifications to me. Notification is just a sort of quite a boring admin email which shows all of the answers to the questions, both the standard questions and the custom pre-filled questions. You'll see that on the email when it comes through to you, comes through to the admin, and you can select multiple admins as well. And then there's the thank you text. So that's the text I see once I hit submit on this form, and the email that the customer receives. So this is the email that actually gets then sent to the customer. So you can make this quite fancy if you want to. You can add FAQs to it. You can add feature blocks to it. You see, I haven't done that yet for this test form, but I could do that and make, and you should make that like a first touch point with the customer. So you should make that email informative, good looking, and easy for the customer to see what's going to happen next, essentially. And then all of the standard web forms, web fields that you need. So web enabled, which sites that it's going to appear on, all your SEO information, and that's basically it. And then what happens when somebody submits the form? You will see it in admin form submissions. So if I go to admin form submissions, you see that we don't have any yet because we haven't submitted this form. So let's submit the form and see what happens. So let's fill the form out. It's already got my name encoded in there. and I'm going to agree to the privacy policy. I'm going to agree to subscribe. So that's the form submitted. And now if I refresh here in form submissions, you'll see the submission that was just been made. So we can click here to view, and now we can see everything about the form submission that was currently, that was just done. So consultation with Jonathan, source, business card. And remember, that was the hidden field. So you can see that that's been passed through the submission, and we've got a record of that. What e-commerce software you're using, actually Pakk, and then the comments, and then the accepted legals, the subscription, and the privacy policy. The messages that were generated. So we've got the notification went to the customer, me, and we've got the notification went to the admin, and then we've got all this stamped on audit log, so that if you ever need to go back and say, this is exactly what the customer submitted, you've got an audit log of that there. And if we go back to the form, web forms, you'll see that now in submissions that the submission that we just looked at is cross-referenced on this form record. So we can see all of the different submissions that this form has generated. And that's basically it.